there are things in our pre-life plan that are very solid. So I actually would say, even though that marriage ended in divorce, there was no mistake in it. I was supposed to meet with him. We were supposed to be married 25 years. We were supposed to have these 3 kids. It was definitely a big part of my life. So this is, there's a saying, something about what is meant for you will find you, or something along those lines. Absolutely. Now, we do have free will in the sense that we can put this off. So a lot of times I have ladies come to me and say, like, I want a partner. When is my soulmate coming in? But if I feel their energy, they're kind of pushing. They're like, well, I want a partner, but only to send me flowers. I don't want to have to do their laundry. I don't want to have to, we put all of these circumstances around it. And so it's really about alignment with your energy. So if you are somebody who says, I am actually ready to have a partner and I want that partner, does your energy align with the statement that you're making? And when your energy aligns, things happen very quickly.
Yeah. So it's always back to the inner work. We always have to do the inner work. Yeah, that makes sense. I have a funny question here that I've always wanted to ask and I've never asked it. Okay. So I'm curious, do we have food and wine and drinks on the other side? I was like sitting in Easter, we had such a great time with food and I love red wine. And I'm like, do they have that on the other side, or do I need to let that go?
I love that. So my experience is, once you get to the other side, you can basically manifest anything if you want. So if you would like to manifest a red wine or a cannoli or a chocolate dessert, whatever this is, absolutely you can.
Right. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. So from what I've learned, there are levels and sort of hierarchies on the other side, not in a bad way like we have here, but
Right.
more like different realms. And it that, my soul maybe have a home frequency, some places on the other side, while you perhaps have another place. Like, did you learn something about like the different levels? Because I've read some of Dolores Cannon, and she's saying that in relation to how developed you are or conscious you are as a soul, you go back to a certain place. I mean, it's so funny with these words, it's possible we don't have the words for it, but then you are pulled back to a certain place on the other side or level. Did you feel like, okay, this is where I belong on the other side? Or did you learn something about these different levels, the lower astral realm, the middle, the higher realms, the ET realms? Yeah.
Right. That's a great question. So this is what I would say. Let's talk about it as vibration or frequency. So I don't actually feel like we have to name all of those realms. Look at planet Earth. It holds the energy of Hitler all the way to Jesus Christ and everyone in between. That's a huge range just on our planet. Look at all the vibrations and frequencies right here. So there's a lot of room to grow just in one space, if we want to call it that. And yes, there is what I would call soul groups, right? Or soul family, places that feel more like home. When we come to planet Earth, it's really great if you think of it about picking a video game. So when my son was younger, he would be in there on his PlayStation. He would be on his headset. He would be talking to kids around the country. They would all pick a team, pick a character, and go right in, right? And play the game. And this is very much what we do on a soul level into our human form. So I might pick someone from a different soul family or a different, let's say, vibration or frequency or planet or dimension or whatever you want to call this. And yet we all build our team and we come in to learn lessons together. Now, we will naturally have places that feel more homey than others, but think about it in vibration and frequency. And because we will always evolve, even when we die, we continue to evolve. Our soul learns and grows. We always have beings of light, whether they are our spirit team from this life or other beings of light, that will hold that frequency around us. So when people say, well, what about hell? I don't actually believe in a place called hell, but what I do know is that when somebody is in a lower vibration, there are always beings of light holding the space around them for them to upgrade to the next frequency.
All right. Okay. Um, let's say you have an experience with a few people, like partners who treat you not very well. I'm curious about this because, well, I can be honest about it. I've experienced being with a couple of narcissists in my life, and I didn't know that that was what it was. And, you know, it's a label that a lot of people are using these days. But I've started looking at videos with Dr. Romani, and many of those people on YouTube who speaks about these, personalities. And some are very harsh when it comes to these personalities and say they will never be better. Some are even say that they're dark souls and all this. And I don't resonate with that. I find that so difficult to accept, because to me, yes, it was a difficult relationship. Yes, I was verbally abused and all of this. It was difficult, but I still care about these people. And I still feel that I learned a great deal. And I know that this is coming from their low self-esteem and horrible lives. So I forgive them for that. And I think it's sad to think that they're dark souls and they were never evolved and stuff like that. So do you think that when we come down on this planet, we sort of agree that, hey, I'm going to be the bad guy here for you, so you can learn to get better boundaries, and we're actually on the same frequency on the other side? Or do you think that actually there are like souls who are way on different frequency that are darker, and that, you know, some, like you mentioned Hitler, like that is a dark soul that's coming in
Right.
evil? Do you get my question?
Yeah, I do. And so I do think that we can team up with souls of other frequencies. Now, here's the thing: innately, that soul is not evil or bad. That person is playing a narcissist in your life so that you can learn lessons, and their soul is learning too. But it doesn't mean that they are a bad, evil soul. It means that this is the role they've chosen to play.
Right. So it is a game where we choose different characters to play. So I'm choosing to be Jannica right now with a set of issues that I'm struggling with, and my personality. So that is like a character I choose to go into, sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason that we do this is because when we are in that heavenly realm, or in that oneness energy, there isn't the contrast that we have here on planet Earth. So it does make it challenging to learn, because, you know, overall everything's quite pleasant and quite amazing, and you can manifest your wine and your chocolate and whatever else it is that you're looking for, right? So we have to have contrast to actually be able to learn and grow. And that's why our soul is like, hey, count me in. When we think of our soul as being eternal, and truly humanness cannot comprehend eternal, we really can't. This life is maybe a second. It's a blink of an eye to say, hey, I'm going to sign up for 100 years at most to go down and learn this, because I can't learn it here. It's almost a no-brainer for our soul. Our soul's like, well, I've got literally forever. What's 1 second?
Yeah, makes sense. All right. So when you get messages from other souls on the other side, how do they come in? Like, can you, for instance, do you have anybody around now? For instance, this is like, I'm sitting here and you can see my grandfather behind me, who has a message, or is it something you turn on?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when I'm in readings, I actually turn it on. So I like to say, think of this as a radio or a frequency. So for me, because I'm a mom and I have 3 kids and I have life to live too, when I go to the grocery store, I'm not connecting with everyone's loved one there. I need to go get groceries, right? So I think about it as this volume, and I turn the volume up or down depending on if I'm working or not. With that being said, yes, your grandfather's energy is very strongly around you. So I do want to say that. And I would also tell you this: he's told me that you have a big I want to say almost like leveling up coming in the next 3 to 5 months. So I don't know. It feels like it's connected with work. It feels like it's going to go to the next level. I don't know exactly what that looks like for you, but I do expect that to be big. And there's something about writing a book. So if you haven't already thought about writing a book, that's in your energy too.
Oh, that's interesting. What was the first thing you said that would come up like in 3 or 5 months, you said?
A leveling up. So you're going to be going next level with work or with these podcasts. It's getting ready to go next level.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Oh, that's nice. He has come through other times. So that's interesting. So do you have like a message for those who are listening today? If you could tune in to what sort of people need to hear right now?
I always go to the angels for that because they always know what's on our heart. And I would say this: the message that they're giving me is have faith. Each of us needs to have faith in ourselves, preferably that we can believe in ourselves to take the next step and find the next right thing for us, but also faith in our team. So whether you are aware of your angels or your life guides or your loved ones, we need to have that faith that they are there and that they will continue to present us with opportunities. They're really wanting me to say too right now that, I think for some people, 2023 is a little bit of a roller coaster year. So it's kind of, woo, here we go. But at the end, we're really going to come out on top. So the opportunity with our free will that they're having me say right now is truly in choosing to see things working out for the best. So we can look at the energy of watching the news. Oh my gosh, the world's falling apart. This is horrible. Or we can say, no, I'm going to hold the light and know that this is all going to turn out for the best. They're saying growing pains are just part of planet Earth, right? So yes, it's a painful experience at times and as a whole for certain countries or maybe the planet. But it's never to think that this is all coming to an end. It's not going to cease to exist. And should planet Earth cease to exist, let's say the sun swallows planet Earth, none of us will cease to exist. We will just exist in different realms.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.